Okay, here we go. Game 3, Paul versus Jesulin. Jesulin is up 2-0. It is a best of 5. This is it. This is Paul's last chance. He is playing as Soviets. Jesulin has chosen over Commander West. Same matchup, same map, everything fair. Let's see what they do. Paul going with a 2 conscript opening, as we have come to expect. Jesulin going with probably Volksgrenadiers, and he's sending his SWS up to the north. Paul's sending his units down south. He's got conscripts on the strategic point, taking control of the munitions with his combat engineers, and they're doing a pretty standard opening here. No real aggression from either of them, just taking their halves of the map.
Structure is up.
So
On the line.
I am wondering what Paul's gonna do. He's brought urban defense again. I don't know if I think he's gonna use it again. Jesulin still has access to scavenge to protect himself from that. So I'm expecting to see shock rifle, and shock rifle is the commander Jesulin used to beat Cruz's fortifications on this map. So we know shock rifle has been proven to work quite nicely on Kolodny Farma Summer. And I fully expect that guard motor coordination could be equally effective. I think Paul has a lot of tools at his disposal here, and he really needs to break out the big guns. He can't be messing around in this game.
Taking effective fire.
Stern Pioneers moving up to engage conscripts in this building. More conscripts moving up to support, and the Stern Pios are taking a lot of damage here. They're going to be forced to retreat. Conscripts in the house have fallen low, but have only taken 1 loss. They will need to retreat soon to heal that up, but since field infirmary doesn't usually come until after the 4th squad of conscripts, it's going to be some time before they can heal. So until that time, he's probably just going to utilize them to cap. Meanwhile, Jesulin's SWS is simply scouting the right side to see if any harassment is coming. He sees that it's not, and is now moving it back towards the center. And these conscripts are going to harass Jesulin's strategic points up here in the north. Stern Pioneers have been reinforced, but they still are heavily wounded, moving up to try and at least capture this point from this yellow cover, but the conscripts in the house continue to be a serious problem, and there's a lot back here supporting as well, bringing these infantry quite low, and Jesulin's feeling a lot of pressure. He feels so much pressure. Paul is in Game 1 and this game done an excellent job of applying that early pressure to the OKW, making it difficult even just to set up the truck. Meanwhile, as combat engineers are taking control of all of the south.
Squad back to full. Contact! Small arms fire! MG-34 heavy machine guns are now available.
The engagement here continues. The SWS is participating in this one, pushing that squad of conscripts. 1 Volksgrenadier squad is falling very low, but they are in green cover, and they're going to fight it out. And the conscripts will simply retreat, knowing this is not an engagement they can win. Jesulin will maintain control of his cutoff. Meanwhile, the conscripts in this house decide it's time to retreat and will pull out. And it looks like Paul is getting a 5th squad of conscripts, so he's definitely gonna turn up the early game pressure. And he's also purchased field infirmary. He's keeping his manpower quite low. Does not like that floaty style that Jesulin tends to use, where he gets 3 squads of conscripts and M3 and then 600 manpower in the bank while he waits for shock troops.
Heavy machine gun group ready for action.
Jesulin not doing too much floating this game either, as he's already chosen Luftwaffe ground forces rather than scavenge, which means he can spend his manpower on MG-34s rather than having to wait to 2 command points for his infantry call-in.
MG-34 heavy machine guns are now available.
Volksgrenadiers are forced to retreat there.
Begin conversion.
And the MG-34 setting up here is firing on the cutoff, but it's not got enough support to make an aggressive push for the cutoff, and it's just going to pull back for now. Second MG34 setting up here on this strategic point. Paul massing conscripts here. He's looking like he wants to make a big push for the battle group headquarters, which just finished constructing. The MG34 is horribly positioned to stop this push. Support is nearby, but still healing, still reinforcing, and the MG34 is forced to make an immediate retreat. Paul does have Molotovs here and will force his opponent from this building with it. Gets one crit on those Stern Pioneers. He really needs to position his conscripts in cover, though. Flamethrower moving up to continue to keep his opponent outside of this building. Ooh, and the harassing MG34 has moved up to support in the engagement, pushing Paul north. But that's exactly where he wants to go anyway. He's got some squads up there as well, and he's going to move to take some of Jesulin's resources in the area, and he's got to, now that he's fully healed and reinforced, he's going to be sending some of those squads to try to counter. And no commander selection from Paul yet. He does have 2 command points. Molotov goes off, but it does not connect. And his conscripts are about to be forced away there, but he does take control of the building. I think. Not sure what's happening here. There he goes. Meanwhile, Jesulin moving to take control of the victory points now.
Ready for deployment.
Stay low! Stay low! Field promotion!
Conscripts being forced to retreat there. These conscripts in the north just trying to hold the victory point, simply defending for now, maybe looking for opportunities to flank a machine gun if they present themselves. And Jesulin slowly creeping up the center. He will take control of the church. Oh, I didn't even know there was a demo charge on that. I didn't even see that get planted. That was sneaky. Full squad of Folks Grenadiers wiped by Paul there. Nice play. And he's got a lot of forces moving up on the right side.
Enemy fire! Enemy fire!
Stern Pioneers will be forced away by Paul's forces over here, which are continuing to make their way towards the cutoff where Jesulin's defenses are so light. MG34 setting up, but he doesn't really have a very good line, plus these troops are in green cover. Conscripts setting up cover of their own on the cutoff, and the munitions is also being contested. Jesulin being forced to send all of his forces in this direction to try and shut him down. And he also feels himself some Fallschirmjäger out of this house, but they're in flamethrower range and Molotov range. Take a huge crit right there. What is happening, Jesulin? That squad of Fallschirmjäger got melted immediately upon hitting the field. That's so expensive. And they had almost no impact. They're now going to retreat through a flamethrower and some conscripts, but it looks like they're going to be okay. Ooh, what happened up here? Where did that MG even come from? I don't know, but Paul just stole it and he is executing on these pushes. Stolen MG34 retreating off the field. He's got to reinforce these Fallschirmjäger. He's falling behind. I feel like that 5th squad of conscripts is paying off big time. But still no commander selection. Molotov goes off here in the center, but he will get pushed away by Stern Pioneers and Folks Grenadiers. And Paul has also gone tier 2 and fielded himself a mortar. He really likes his mortars against tier 2, and it's easy to see why. He just has to make sure he can keep that thing from getting harassed off the map.
Find cover! Under attack!
Conscripts pulling back to take control of the strategic point here in the north. Jesulin making his way down south. As far as squad wipes, I think there's only been one that I noticed. It was the squad in this church. There have been some near misses, but other than that, they're keeping pretty even. I feel like Jesulin generally bleeding more manpower. Oh, also, there's a stolen machine gun. I forgot about that. So 2 squad wipes for Jesulin. Paul definitely pulling ahead then. Definitely pulling ahead. What we need him to do now is capitalize on that lead. We've seen it before where you get an early lead and you don't use that lead to win the game. That's where it becomes important. And we'll see what he chooses to do. He still has guard motor and shock rifle in his arsenal. His fuel is getting up there. It's up to 180. He's got 5 command points, so still some time before call-in tanks are available to him. If he can continue to have the map presence that he has had without teching up, then when his call-ins arrive, they'll have a devastating impact. As for Jesulin, he has 138 fuel now, and he's moving to set up his Tier 4 structure. It's a little bit late. Setting up your Tier 4 at 11 minutes definitely means you're behind. You're definitely behind. Setting it up here, it looks like. No, driving it away. Not feeling comfortable setting that up with this much pressure coming from Paul's infantry. MG34 setting up to try to protect the cutoff. Flamethrower and conscripts making a push for the building. Those Sturm Pioneers won't be able to hold for long, and he is going to reposition out of the house, try and reconnect with his Volksgrenadiers and machine gun. Oorahing into close range, Molotov goes off and forces that to reposition. Grenade goes off on those conscripts, but in green cover they take not that much damage, and everything's being forced to retreat. Machine gun retreating, Sturms retreating, conscripts retreating, more infantry moving up to take control of the fuel here, and Paul also has the stolen MG34 grabbing control of the center victory point and protecting avenues of approach there.
Heavy machine gun team ready for battle.
Check sights!
Valiant assault is now at hand. The troops await your command.
Target secured!
MG34 heavy machine guns are now available.
Conscripts making their way forward now. More pressure coming up from behind. I don't know if Jesulin's going to be able to push this back. So many conscripts just flooding to his cutoff. He can't seem to stop the tide. Nice mortar hit forces those Fallschirmjäger to retreat, and Jesulin can't even build his Tier 4. Molotov forces a reposition from that machine gun. Flamethrower has taken total control of this fuel and will move to take even more territory. More conscripts applying pressure to the cutoff. It remains decapped. The stolen MG34 suppresses 2 squads here. Jesulin is so contained. He's so boxed in.
Now stand at 300 points.
Contact!
Oh no. Grenade goes off on the stolen MG34. Ooh, and they're possibly both going to get decrewed here. He's trying to retreat it. Both MGs decrewed, but a lot of conscripts here. He may be able to recover both. Oh, definitely not. Support has arrived. He wanted to oorah up and get it, but he couldn't do so. Molotov going off on the Fallschirmjäger, or the MG34 rather, sorry. And I don't know what I think of the situation we're in here. Paul did manage to recover that MG34. Jesulin has purchased himself 2 more. I mean, I've said before, can Jesulin come back from this situation? I don't think so.
Enemy flanking us!
And I don't think so. But if Company of Heroes 2 has taught me anything, it's to reserve judgment. Because you never know what's gonna happen. But Paul not taking any insane risks this game. This is also a disaster waiting to happen. Oh no. He's not really close enough. But yeah, no urban defense. He has gone shock rifle, and he'll have access to the KV-8 soon. IS-2 soon afterward. Another engagement happening in the center between conscripts and various stuff. Paul is a little bit exposed. He wants to capture the point, but there's not that much cover there. And the MG34 is laying fire on him, plus Fallschirmjäger in the building, Volksgrenadieros over here. And it looks like he's probably going to lose this engagement and be forced to retreat. But his Sturm Pioneers did get blown to bits here. I think that particular guy he's in shock. He can't believe the horror he's witnessed and surrenders, I guess. I don't know.
Commotion! Ready to deploy! Send your orders! Grenadiers ready!
Grenadiers making their way up there. Another demo charge has been thrown on the point, and the loss of Sturm Pioneers, as I've said 100 times before, is crucial. Jesulin now has no choice but to not get them and give up his ability to repair anything, or get them and drastically slow down the production of other units. He still doesn't have tier 4. I'm not entirely sure he's gonna make it to tier 4. Another grenade goes off on Paul's stolen machine gun and forces it to retreat once more, and Paul has fielded himself a second mortar, and his KV-8 has arrived. This could be Jesulin's death knell here. If he can't stop this KV-8 from overrunning him, that's the game. His machine guns have almost all been cleared out by mortars. He's down to only 2 squads of infantry. Couldn't even afford to make it to tier 4 this game from all the pressure he's under, so he's fielding a Jagdpanzer as an emergency measure against this KV-8, which is really his only option. But until it gets here, he is very much going to get pushed off the map.
Target that infantry!
Jesulin scouting a little bit with his SWS half-track. It's obviously going to die. It's taken an AT grenade, so he leaves it there. Possibly intentionally using it to block this path. I don't know if that actually works. I don't think so. There's still a little room.
Evacuate! Evacuate! Supply half-track destroyed. Dispatching alternate command truck now.
There was another demo charge up here. Judging by the fresh body parts, I think that another Volksgrenadier squad got wiped while I wasn't watching.
Under attack!
Mortars are bombarding the battle group headquarters, and Jesulin has very little with which to push them away.
Battle promotion! Infantry attacking in force! Combat promotion! Contact! Small arms fire!
AT grenade on the Jagdpanzer does penetrate, and he doesn't have Sturm Pioneers, so that is permanent engine damage.
Contact! Small arms fire! Watch for grenades!
Mortars continue to bombard this. He can't repair this either. It's gonna be destroyed soon. There's not a whole lot he can do about it.
Taking fire!
Kind of gave these conscripts cover by allowing his SWS to die right there. Fallschirmjäger taking up a position in cover here, putting pressure on this stolen MG34. It'll be forced to retreat. Molotov going off, however. Nice dodge by Jesulin, moving forward. Volksgrenadiers moving up into this green cover now to apply pressure to the mortars, and they will simply retreat to avoid grenades, as they are rather clumped. And these Volksgrenadiers are going to take control of the center victory point to try to slow the clock, but Jesulin is running out of time quite rapidly, and I suspect that an IS-2 is going to be on the field within the next 2 minutes. And once that gets here, there's not a whole lot that can protect this Jagdpanzer from it, since it has a damaged engine, but at least repairs are on the way. Jesulin has queued up a squad of Sturm Pioneers, and he should be able to get some repairs done, as long as he can keep the mortars off the field. And Paul getting a little risky here with the second KV-8, which leads me to believe he wants to end the game on victory points, rather than try and kill all of Jesulin's high priority targets. If he goes with 2 KV-8s, he'll have incredible counter harassment and harassment power of the VPs. And we can see that he's sending that straight down to the south now, so nothing's going to be getting through that unless a serious commitment is made by Jesulin to try to destroy it entirely.
Flanking attack!
Harassment of the center. VP will threaten to triple cap Jesulin again. Once that happens, he will have very little time to react before the game ends. KV-8 moving up to engage. The Jagdpanzer doesn't have a line on him. He does now. But with its damaged engine, it's not very effectively able to chase. The other KV-8 is somewhere. Moving in from the east. The battle group headquarters has been destroyed, which means Jesulin cannot reinforce out of this area, and the damaged engine Jagdpanzer is slowly trying to chase. Fallschirmjäger squad looks like it could get wiped. Maybe. Not quite, but it's manpower bleed that Jesulin can't afford regardless. He's just taking tons of casualties, so much damage everywhere. KV-8's wreaking havoc on his lines and he just can't do anything about it. Everything is being burned alive. And it looks like that double KV-8 choice is working like a charm. He does suffer engine damage there from a lucky hit on his rear armor. Ooh, and an incendiary barrage is being dropped on the base. All these wounded squads. There go the Fallschirmjäger.
We've lost a squad of infantry.
One of the KV-8s has been destroyed. The other one, however, is occupied up here in the north. It does not have a damaged engine. Looks like it's doing pretty much fine. Jesulin down to only 48 points. He is triple capped and he cannot push what's coming out of his base. Field gun firing at the Jagdpanzer. It's being circle strafed. One Panzerschreck shot from death. And there it is, out of control. Both KV-8s destroyed, but it just doesn't matter. Paul has pretty much sealed the game. He applied so much pressure and harassment with those KV-8s. Jesulin had no choice but to try to destroy them, and in the amount of time it took him to do so, the points have been ticking down. We are going to go into Game 4. This tournament's not over yet.
Units consolidate. They're down to 10 points.
And man, when one of these players wins, they really win. It's 482-6. I don't think we've had a game that was like super close in victory points yet. Alright, short break, and we're gonna jump into Game 4.